Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are you this morning, Kylie?
I'm great. Thanks, Jenny. How are you going?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you very much.
Great. So welcome everyone to the 2nd of December. So we're really officially in the festive season, and welcome to another episode of Bite-Sized Conversations with Jenni Walke and Kylie Mobrow, and that's me. Today we're going to be talking about our favorite finds in 2022. So it could be platforms or businesses or whatever it is, but we're going to share with you things that we've found that we just think are rad. So Jenny, over to you. Go with number one.
Well, I'm going to start with something that is not a product or a service. And I know we originally were thinking something that you might want to buy for Christmas, but I have to tell you, the best find in the last 2 months you gave us, which is Hi Hello.
Yes!
I am a massive fan. In fact, I used it last night. I'm at a workshop offsite at an Amazing Spices retreat in Mullaney, the Tamarind, and someone was looking at my contacts because they want to give it to their son. And I was like, hang on, I'll just give you my Hi Hello and you can forward the card. And she's like, what is this magical thing? And when I was overseas in New Orleans in the US, we used it then to share contacts, and I've used it so much, and it is the best app. So for those who don't know Hi Hello, it's a digital business card essentially, and you can create as many digital business cards as you would like on it. So for me, who has multiple businesses or multiple kind of markets, I can have a personal one, I can have an elephant in the room, we can have Indigimesh, I can have Be Impact Collective, and they can all be different and have your personalized details, and you just QR scan it. So they save your contacts, they can email it to themselves, they can share it, and it's the best app. So that has been my biggest find, and I've used it at least 5 times a week since I downloaded it in early October. So
yay, I'm so happy about that.
And it's just like, it's blown my mind. I've had digital business cards before, and it's always been clunky. And what I love about this is, one, I can put my photo on, it can be a logo, but I've got my logo and my photo, my favorite photo that I use quite a lot. So when somebody goes to my business card, not only has it got all my details, I can do a little pitch, I can put links in it, all that information if it's in the actual Hi Hello app. But every time they update their contact details, I get notification that they've updated their contacts. And I love that because we're always going to stay in sync. So that's my first one.
And you know what? You forgot one tiny little factor, which is so awesome, is it's free.
Oh, it's free. Yes, of course.
Yes. How good is that? It's crazy. Things
So
like
good.
that so often are on a subscription and you're paying every month and on and on and on. But Hi Hello is free. I just think that's gold.
I completely agree. So that's my first kind of business related digital app. So definitely Hi Hello. If you haven't seen it, and this is like definitely to find from our digital marketing guru in front of us, Kylie, and it's been the boss. So that's my first one. What about your first find for the year?
I just want to add to the Hi Hello one for a sec, because I was on the plane to Sydney a month ago, ready for the Australian Women in Business Awards, and sitting there on the plane, I suddenly looked at my daughter and went, I didn't bring any business cards. I was like, what an idiot. But that's ridiculous. I'm so excited to meet so many amazing women. Da, 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 da. And then she went, don't you have that really cool app on your phone there, Mum, that you always use? And I'm like, oh, yeah, of course. So I wowed the crowd with that app. Every time they'd go, have you got a card? Can we connect? And I'd go, just scan my QR code. And it was just all quick and easy. And they loved it. So just like you, everyone was just like, oh, I need that now. So very good app.
The other thing that I like about it, I know we might spend 30 minutes just on Hi Hello, but the one thing I really like about it is that you can choose how you want to share the information. So most other digital business card apps that I've used, you've got a choice of pretty much QR code or nothing. But I can email it, I can text it, they can QR code it, and then they can choose how they want to play with that data. They can actually save it as a contact on their phone. They can email the contact details to themselves, which has a link. And also the options that you get, so you can actually play with your customers in a way, or your potential customers in a way that suits them. And that's what I love about it. Because not everybody likes QR codes. People are like, oh, what is this QR? I'll just text it to you. It's fine.
Yes,
So cool.
so good. And
Yeah.
I, like you, I have more than one. So I've got Hi Hello for Hello Media, Hi Hello for my personal one, which I really love too, because I think sometimes you're a bit like an egg, really, when you meet someone in a personal state, or not state, in a personal nature, and you want to share your contact details. You don't need to give them your business stuff necessarily.
No, that's
So
right.
I really, really like that I've got my personal version too, and my positive, passionate businesswoman one too. So
It's so good.
really, really good. I love it. And the way I know which one's which, because I color code them all. So,
Same, me too. My
yeah.
personal one is blue and my business one is red at the moment. I have a third one that we're creating for Indigimesh, which we're still trying to work out the color palette for that. So I'll wait and then customize it.
So good, isn't it? So good that you can be right on brand with your digital business cards. So good. So that's awesome, Jenni. I'm thrilled that you brought that one up. Well, one that I want to bring up is actually not a platform, and it is a business, but it's actually a person. And that is, you and I both know her, Leanne Carrius of the Feng Shui Store and More. The reason that she's on my mind this morning is because I listened to her live at 7 a.m. I'm a member of a Inner Circle Facebook group. It's a membership for the year, and you get all kinds of things. Now, the first thing is that years and years and years ago, when I had started my first business up here, brought my first business with me, but moved up to the Byron region, and I got my house feng shuied. So I had someone come in, paid for them to come in because I had a home office. So I really wanted to be able to make the spaces separate, but make it flow well and make the money flow in the door and, all the things. It was so amazing. And so I've dabbled a little tiny bit, since then. I only know little bits and pieces, like don't place your bed there with your feet facing towards the door and, things like that. But since knowing Leanne and being in that group, there's just so much good stuff to learn. But this morning was particularly poignant. So I was just trotting around doing things in the house, and I just had the phone there with her, on doing a live. And she was talking about Christmas, and she even had a cry. It was so emotional and beautiful, talking about how hard it can be at Christmas time when you've lost people and the people that you would love there aren't there and stuff. And she said something so moving for me, which was all about bringing them to the gathering and talking about them and bringing them up and making it feel like you're celebrating that they were there with you for all the ones that they were. And I thought that was so lovely, because often I found Christmas quite sad. And I know that a lot of people do. It actually can be a really hard time for some people. But I thought that literally just flipped my mind into, I've got to bring them along and bring them into it. And it's a wonderful reason or opportunity to be able to talk about them. So that's my sharing number one, is that somebody like that can just give you another little perspective of looking at things. So it's not, feng shui is not just about where to place your Buddha or something like that. So yeah, I think she's got a little bit of magic there in the way that she shares. And I love it when someone can have a cry and keep going, like, good on you, Leanne. So that was a little bit of fabulous. So Leanne Carrius from the Feng Shui Store and More.
And Leanne is an amazing woman. I met her many, many years ago and connected, and she has just got so much wisdom in the way that she presents what she does. So she does make Feng Shui accessible, and that's what I love about what Leanne does. It's not that even if you're not into the woo-woo, she makes it accessible for everyone. So the language that she uses and the information she shares is so easy to understand that you can just start, as you say, start dabbling in it and start to kind of lean into it a bit without getting a little bit scared. Yes,
and little things like, I actually realize you can't see them in the camera today, but I've got these glass bowls with water and just little plants that come out of them, because it's important to have water in a space and that kind of thing. So it's tiny tweaks that you can do without really delving into it if it's not your thing, which I think's a wonderful thing.
Very true.
There you go. So what about you, Jenni? What's next on your list?
Well, I think no one's going to be surprised with my next one, which is the first product, which is, of course, Blakbird Designs, Nikki Gallagher, who's in Southeast Queensland. But I'm actually going to combine her with Bobbi Frances, because earrings are one of the best things. And I talked last week about the fact that the amazing kind of advent calendar that you can get from an earring advent calendar that Blakbird Designs has done this year. But what I love about Blakbird Designs and also Bobbi Frances, who is the other earring person that I kind of showcase and wear a lot of her stuff, is that they're two incredible women who decided one day they like to make earrings. And they were making them for themselves, and they were just wanting to kind of have a little moment of joy and creativity that have turned into a business. And I love it. So it's that kind of pure accidental business person, but they're listening to their marketing, creating fun, engaging, and just lots of cool earrings and other things. So Bobbi Frances, Bobbi with an I Frances, and we'll put all the links later in the chat. She has fabulous things like dancing flamingos and little dogs and, you know, gigantic flowers and just these really enjoyable earrings that make you happy. And she does beautiful headbands and other things as well. And then of course, Nikki Gallagher from Blakbird Designs is an artist, and she's actually using her jewelry, and now she's expanded into other giftware and other items, but it's showcasing her artwork. So it's a way for her to express her heritage, her culture, but also just to be able to express herself and showcase her art in a really accessible way. Not everyone can afford a big piece of art, but you can actually wear a bit of art every day. So these ones, I've got like the leather ones that she has, and she does a whole range of ones. So what I love about this is about saying, not only is it about supporting and having something that you love, they do gift vouchers, both of them, and giving it as a gift, it's a way that you can actually just have a, you know, I guess reward yourself, if you like, and just feel good about having a good day. And they package them beautifully. They come in beautiful little boxes, and when you open it up, you know, there's a little thank you card in it, and the whole experience from shopping on the website to receiving these products in a beautiful little box that has tissue paper and a thank you card and little sticker to say, you know, have a great day and we appreciate your work. It just makes the whole experience wonderful. So two amazing powerhouse women who've started a business that are incredibly successful, from side hustle to main hustle, and just demonstrates what you can do when you just kind of, you know, let go and start to, you know, do something that you love.
I love that. And I love that you said from side hustle to main hustle. I've been talking quite a bit about that this week for people new in business, and going, don't expect that you could going to be making your, well, I was going to say fortune, but even making a living right from the very beginning. Like, majority of people have something else going on to supplement that income, because you really need to be investing back into the business hard out in the very beginning, you know. And really thinking that, you know, your digital marketing, for example, really needs to be a massive, massive chunk of that, because how are you going to get found? How do people know that you even exist? So I think that's wonderful, Jenni. It's a great reminder. Always make sure that if it's not working for you right now and you're not feeling like you're earning enough, get something else going on the side, you know, part-time job or something, so that you can invest in your business.
Oh, I completely agree. And I had that conversation with someone last night about the growth of elephant in the room. Now, we had a different experience. We kind of jumped all in, got rid of the safety net and went, let's just make it work. So we had no choice but to make it work. But we were not, you know, hugely successful in the first couple of months. And we were having those moments of like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But from that very first time, you know, every opportunity I had to join a course or do a program or something, I did that. I prioritized that relearning and reinvesting in myself and the business early on, which has actually enabled us and allowed us to have the success that we've had, because we didn't just go, oh, you know, I'm going to take all the money and spend it because I've got this income. It's like, no, what do I need to do? How do we make it work? What do I need to learn? How do I need to keep growing? So I completely agree with you. If you don't have a safety net, then just be really mindful about how you're going to keep reinvesting, and use a portion of that money, whether it's a GST money or a training money that you allocate to yourself. That's how I do my business anyway. But having that extra little piece to say, I'm going to reinvest. So very, very cool.
Brilliant. I love it.
And so what's your find for 2022?
It's not a local anything, not even an Australian anything. It is an app for your phone or for your iPad. And also now you can have the desktop version too. And that is CapCut. That will completely change the way that you create reels or just videos in general. Super, super fun and free. So really, really love that one. And so it's so fun to use. You can literally make an amazing reel just using, for example, 3 photos. And it just got some cool little features that it can do for you, and so easy to use. And then there's loads of things in there I can't even use yet. I haven't even played with it, but it's literally that easy that you can just start with anything. So that's definitely worth a look for everyone. So CapCut.
Reels scare me. I was working with my team this week because I've been crazy busy and I haven't created my reels. They helped me out with that. And the whole kind of creating reels is just like aligning the timing and making the videos work, and it just scares me. So I love that CapCut gives you the opportunity to basically be someone who can create a reel that's going to be engaging and fun, and using those templates I haven't used it, I know my team does, but it's awesome.
Awesome. So what about another one, Jenni, that you've found? And you'll just need to excuse me for 1 second. My husband's carer is having a panic about something. I will be straight back. So you share. What's next, Jenni?
So for me, the next one, I guess, because we're coming up to Christmas, I wanted to really showcase, I guess, a local business someone that you can actually use for gifts all around, and that's the Noosa Tea Company. I love tea. I'm a mad fan of lots of tea, and beautiful Noosa Tea Company makes the most gorgeous organic and tea, and it's a family-owned business, obviously in Noosa, and beautiful loose leaf tea. Again, it's about the experience. They package their products beautifully. You can buy them online and ship them direct as gifts. And it's just a really beautiful gift to have, again, not just for Christmas or for birthdays, but I love tea for myself. I love rewarding myself with a beautiful cup of tea. So I make sure I always have some special teas at home that I actually have with a pot when I've got time to sit down and make a beautiful pot of tea. And when we do have time, although sometimes you don't always have the time to do it, but we're actually having this beautiful tea. So there's all different types, like any type of tea you can imagine they have available for you. And that's the Noosa Tea Company. And I know Kylie loves a beautiful tea as well, but they have like matcha and spice chai and all incredible things. So I think as we're coming close to Christmas, though, we're only 3 weeks away. There's a lot of people kind of panicking about, what am I going to buy? What do I need to do? How do I support? And I know before we kind of go into the next person that we're going to, that my next find for 2022, one of the key aspects I think you've heard through all our podcasts over the last several years is that we really like to buy local and shop local, and also support businesses, not only necessarily within our local community in terms of, 100 kilometers, say, for example, but in our state or Australia. And the reason we want to do that is because Kylie and I are both absolute fans of that small business entrepreneurship and really helping support and build sustainability in communities. And the best way to do that is through businesses, because businesses create a whole supply chain that actually don't just benefit the person that you're buying from, but it benefits so many other people in that business. So it could be their family, their employees, or the people that they're actually buying their product from, or their raw ingredients from, for example. It's a really great way to support communities is when you buy from a small business within the kind of Australia local area. It's about economic development and growth and sustainability of small communities. And while there is a kind of big push to come back to, for people going to big cities now, there is still this beautiful local communities in regional Australia. And they have so many incredible products. Like we're up here at Mullaney at the moment, and you look at Mullaney Milk and Mullaney Dairy. It's started as a small dairy, but now it's renowned for its products. Drive 40 kilometres down the road and there's Kenilworth Bakery and the Kenilworth Dairy that's there that has amazing products that you can have any day, and you can buy them all around the world now, I think, in some cases. But because people supported them at a local level and bought locally, and that supports their suppliers, it gives opportunities for people to grow. So I was just talking, Kylie, about the importance of why we want to support local businesses and the value that it brings, not just to that individual, but their supply chain and their community that benefit because they exist, right? So even you look at, with Nikki, with Blakbird Designs, the people that she gets the leather from and the paint from and the materials that she uses and the boxes and the packaging and all those things have an impact in the community. So when you're shopping local or shopping small business, it's actually thinking, well, how many people am I actually impacting? You'll probably find it's in the order of 10s or 15 or hundreds of people by buying one product locally.
Absolutely. I just bought my dress online for the awards night. I'm heading off to Sydney in about half an hour and heading off for the Altitude Awards for Women in Business. And I've got many, many dresses. And even when I went to the Raw Awards 2 weeks ago in Brisbane, I literally took 5 with me because I could not decide which one I wore on the one I wear on the night. Anyway, so I have my dress arrived only yesterday, so very lucky that it fits perfectly. But what I love about it is you're dead right. Here's the chain. I've bought this beautiful dress that is Australian made, Australian designed, etc. I bought it from an Australian online store, so not locally in my little town, but certainly in Australia. Those women there working, packing the orders, doing the dispatch, doing the website, all of the things. They also have an actual physical store too. Yeah. So of course that's staffed with local people, etc. The sending it here, so that's not great, for the footprint on the earth perhaps, but still it's giving the local post offices work and the workers and all that. And then it gets delivered to me and I'm like, yay, here I go. So I just think when you have that possibility to do that, it's a really great thing to grab.
Yeah, and I think that's we sometimes forget. We talk about buy local and we think we're just supporting that business. And a lot of people go, I'm just supporting, the guy who makes the boards or the guy who do this, but then you actually think bigger than that. And when we are supporting, this is how we start to build big business, by supporting small business. Like even if you go back and think of any of the giant businesses that exist in the world, they started with somebody locally having a product that they sell, right? Every department store started with, it may have been a clothes shop that then expanded and continued to expand to become a department store. And so that's how we create stability and economic sustainability in our society, is by starting and supporting small businesses, because they are truly I know that's the cliche, they're the backbone of our economy, but they are. Yeah, because they do sustain so much. But yeah, so I was just talking about Noosa Tea Company, which I absolutely love. Beautiful family-owned business in Noosa, obviously amazing teas. So I know we're probably running out of time. As we said, we're going to just talk a lot about lots of little things. But what would be your final favorite thing from 2020?
22.
Oh my God, I just lost 2 years. What just happened to me? 2022, sorry.
Yeah, I would like to do a shout out to Let's Party. So they're Sydney-based, women-led business, and they do local products as well as products that they bring in from overseas, but they also do dog parties. Now, I have to say, the amount of joy that their socials bring me and watching their fun that they have at the dog parties. They set up things. This weekend, she's doing a unicorn party, and it's the first time they've done that theme. They did this rainbow party for this couple that was just extraordinary with their dog. My favorite one they did this year was a bark mitzvah for this dog. They even had a rabbi there. The dog came out and there was this massive red carpet, and they had food trucks and all the things. Like, it does nothing but bring you joy. It's so great. But on the other part of their business is this online store. And as you know, I've got 2 dogs, so I'm regularly buying. But why I want to mention these guys is because they are absolute experts in that area. They know, you could go to Pet Barn, right? Which is a big, giant multinational. You could go to Bloomin' Kmart and get a $3 toy, but it's going to be destroyed very, very quickly. Whereas everything that I've bought with these guys is just incredibly amazing quality. And all the treats and snacks that I buy are made locally. There's this woman that they often do work with and markets with and stuff like that, who's tasty wiener treats. And it's things like dehydrated, tails of whatever. And I can't even say, chicken jerky, turkey jerky, all kinds of things. Our dogs just love them. But what I also love, what you were saying before about the earrings, the way that it comes to you is so beautifully presented. And they even put the dog's names on the boxes, and then I use that box to store the things in. So I'm reusing all this stuff over and over. And it's just a little bit of magic, really. I have to say that finding them was gold. And I've kept trying to say to her so often, do a monthly subscription, because I want to be in on that. And then you just send me surprises every month of dog treats and things. But she hasn't done it yet, but I do hope that will happen, because I'd like it.
I'm trying to get Nikki to do that for Blakbird Designs as well. So I think you and I are the ideal customers for that, though, aren't we? Like, yes. We love your product. We'll buy everything from you. Just send it to us. Like make
Yeah.
it easy.
Make it happen. Yeah, absolutely. I just think that's a gold one. So yeah, definitely check out Let's Party, because that's some awesome stuff going on there.
I love that. I love that.
Have you got one last one you'd like to share, Jenni?
The one last one I would like to share, because it reminded me when I was in the States. We went to obviously Walmart and had a look and wander around, and it's essentially Kmart. It's just on a bigger scale. But I was looking at the Barbies, and it reminded me of Jack's dolls here in Australia, and the amazing work she's doing to bring a whole range of, you know, rare and not often seen Barbies and toy and other dolls into Australia, so we can actually, you know, experience the diversity of toys for kids overseas that we don't often see here. We're starting to, it's better, but it's not as good. So Jack's Dolls, I think it's right.
Jack's Dolls Direct. That's
thank
right.
you, Jack's Dolls Direct. I just
On
kind of love her
eBay.
stuff. Pardon?
She's on eBay. I don't think she has a website yet.
No, but I love her stuff, and I love what she's doing. And again, it's just a passion that she has. And I love that she's turned that passion into a business. And again, we're coming up to Christmas, but if you're a collector, if you've got a special occasion, if you've got a best friend that you want to send something to say, you know, I'm thinking of you, she probably has a doll that looks like her. Like, let's face it, she has got a doll for everybody. And so I love that opportunity again for her to be sharing and encouraging people to see the world differently. And she's doing that through a simple Barbie or a simple doll, but it does change the way that we view the world and change the way that we see other people when we can start experiencing those different types of, you know, toys. So that would be my last one. Close to Christmas, Jack's Dolls Direct. Find her on Facebook, and then you can work out how to get her product, but she's amazing.
Brilliant.
So that would be my last one.
I love that. My last one is actually not a platform, not a business. It's a thing. And the thing is accessibility. So thank goodness, finally it's happening, but Meta, so as in Facebook and Instagram and Google and other big giants, are going to be starting, well, I guess they're starting already, but really ramping it up next year, and prioritizing businesses that are really optimized for accessibility. So what that means is making sure that your alt text is always included. And you can also include alt text on every single Instagram post, for example. Making sure that on your website, all your alt text is nailed. So what that means is that if you're a vision impaired in some way, and you've got software, it'll speak the words out to those people. It's also things like really overhauling your website and all of your graphics to make sure that you don't have pale font on a pale colored font in a tiny font on a pale colored background. I was just looking at a website the other day, just going, oh my goodness, come on, who have you made that for? You haven't actually made it for people that want to read anything on your website. It was impossible. It was a salmony pink with white writing.
Oh, wow.
No one can read that in point size 10. It was just shocking. So we've all got to really think a lot about how can we make it better, this experience for others. As you know, I wear hearing aids and I lip read a lot. So I have scenarios where people join me in a Zoom call and they're like, oh, I just feel better about not having my camera on or something. And I'm like, I actually lip read. So I really would appreciate it if you could turn it on. Yeah. So I know in some instances they can't, but you know, there's just things that we need to all start thinking about other people and how can we do our little bit. So, and then to find out now that finally those platforms are actually going to prioritize businesses in the Google search, et cetera, that are doing that is a massive win for everybody, really. So
I love that. I think that's so important. And there are some really great accessibility checkers that you can actually use that are free online, that you can actually put your URL in and it will give you that, what is the contrast of your images? What is the color contrast? And is your text and what is it? So, and I love those because I've used that with my website. One of the reasons we're looking to change our logo a little bit because the contrast of the gray, white and the red is a bit difficult from an accessibility perspective on our logo. And so we've recognized that. So I love that you're actually calling that out. I think it's such an important aspect for businesses because it is the same with Jack's Dolls Direct. It's about opening your mind to the fact that not everybody who's looking at your website is like you. And so how do you make sure that you're actually reaching them, talking to them, and getting them to be engaged? You need to think of all those aspects, and accessibility, which is not just around, sight and vision impaired. It could be the way that anybody looks at it and goes, I can't see it, or I can't read it, or the language is, the text is too small for a human to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is pretty funny. But yeah, no, I think it's great. I love that you've called that out.
And one more thing is that we're doing the same, Jenni, and just doing a little bit of a tweak of our website, not for the current one that's up, but for the new one that I'm building out. So instead of doing charcoal gray, which I love, I'm switching everything over to black, which is not my favorite, but it's because that contrast is so incredibly important. So I put a challenge out to everyone today. Go and look at the font coloring that you're using. Go and look at the size that you're doing of stuff. Says me, who just pulled out a few business cards to take with me this weekend, and I can't even barely read it with my glasses on. It's because I tried to fit too much in there. But they're very, very, very old business cards. So best I sort that out. Or I'll just continue with hi, hello. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely put that out as a challenge to go and have a look and think about it for anyone that needs, a little extra help. So are you making it easy for them? Because I don't know what the stats are, but there's a huge amount of people out there that you're missing out on if you're not making your site and your graphics and your socials easily able to be read by them.
And there are a couple of plugins which I might have a look. I know there's some plugins on the back of WordPress that you can actually use that actually do that as you're building your site. It will actually do some site accessibility checking as you're building. It'll do an evaluation of your website as a plugin, so that you're constantly making sure that if you add anything new, that it's meeting those requirements. Because particularly for businesses, and in my space, as a consultant space, it's really important that if we're building learning programs, we're building learning platforms for clients, as you do, the accessibility requirements that are coming, clients are asking for it. So it's not just about doing it right for potential customers looking at your business, looking at your webpage. You might work with a client if you're a consultant or a company building learning management systems or training online, and accessibility is critical because their audience demands that too.
Yes, absolutely. One more thing I thought I should mention, and I'll be honest, I didn't even know that this was even a thing. Excuse me. And that is, I was having a Zoom session with a client the other day who is in the disability space, not splice. And she was talking about hashtags, and she would like us to start changing the hashtags we're using with her so that they include capitals, which is something along the lines of called camel case or camel backing or something like that. Anyway, I'm looking into it and doing some study, and I'll come back to you with some more information around it. But that is that the hashtags actually should have capitals in them so that it makes it easy to read. So, i.e. accessibility.
Yeah, I love, and that's so important because sometimes I do look at hashtags. I'm like, I have no idea what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
because it is all kind of jumbled essentially. But yeah, I think the accessibility, maybe we should talk about that on our next podcast.
Let's do it. Accessibility.
Yeah, let's talk about accessibility for businesses, both from website, your products, how you're delivering your services, and what that means to you, particularly as we come into 2023, when we're starting to look at things differently. The world is starting to grow up a little bit and become a bit more mature around, what's important to the broader community. And I think, so let's talk about accessibility next on our podcast.
Excellent. I love it. So making your business more accessible and little tips and tricks and ways that you could do it.
Sounds amazing. I love that. So between now and then, Kylie, how do people get hold of you?
hellomedia.team. Jump onto the website. I'm hoping it will only be there for a few more weeks, and then the new one will have emerged. Yes. And you can connect with me. You can have a little free discovery Zoom, or you can jump into our Facebook group, Hello Media, or of course on all the other socials. But yeah, Hello Media, the Facebook group, is the best way to be learning lots of cool stuff.
Very much so.
What about you, Jenni?
And so for those who want to connect with us, elephantintheroomau.com is our website, or elephantintheroomau on socials. You can find us there. We hang out a lot on Instagram, a little bit on Facebook, and we're really starting to look at the way that we're engaging. So we're going to start doing some new fun stuff in the new year on our Facebook page. So check out that in the new year. But Elephant in the Room AU. We are at a time, I realized when I was like, see how easy we can churn up 30 minutes on a Friday morning. Like, goodness me. for those listening, we're going to put all the links into the chat and the podcast links for all those businesses or those concepts that we talked about, because they're really great ways, not just to grow your business and support your community, but also some fun gifts if you need them throughout the year. I'm really looking forward to next week's conversation about accessibility. And if you have any questions for us, reach out to us on our socials beforehand and we'll try and answer them next week.
Love it. Look forward to it, Jenni. Thanks so much and have a fabulous week and weekend and day. See you. Bye, everyone.
At your awards ceremony. We can't wait to hear it.
Thanks so much. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.